Hello guys, welcome back to the TheRS weekly podcast with me, Reese.
And me, Sam.
Yeah, how you doing, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm sound. Getting better, mate.
Good.
Getting better.
Good.
So, this week we're going to be reviewing the weekend's games in the Bundesliga from Friday to Sunday. We've got the quiz coming as well.
We have.
Yeah, the quiz. I'm not looking forward to this one because I know after the last one you was mega pissed. Straight text message, straight away, I'm not happy with that. So I'm getting it today, I think.
We've got the points back this week as well. See how many points everyone got?
Yeah, we're keeping the point system going. We've got like a little group of lads, two from Scunny, two from Sheffield that we know. Well, more Sam knows, but I've met them through Sam. So we're getting a weekly score predictor. It's 1 point apiece, me and Sam at the minute, and the rest is on nil point.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the quiz after we've reviewed the weekend's Bundesliga results. And we're also, if we've got time, we're also going to try and... we are going to try and make a little bit of time, I guess, to talk about the topic that's big across the world at the moment, which is the Black Lives Matter. I feel it's quite important to talk about it, to show our solidarity towards it. To put it bluntly, me and Sam don't have a racist bone in our body, so... I think it's really important that people like us that have got a platform to speak on use it wisely. So I'd be interested to know your thoughts on that, Samuel.
Yeah, we'll get on to that, mate. It's a big subject for us all.
Well, it is, mate, and I think just for me personally, and you're welcome to throw your 10 pence in, but for me, it's something that's quite close to me. I've grown up with quite a few different ethnic communities, or people from ethnic communities, and I'm not going to say minorities because that's the wrong word. People have been using that word for too long. And it's not an ethnic minority, because they are not the minority. The people, the same as us. So, to me, everyone should be treated the same. But we are going to get onto that later, guys. But, for the time being, we're going to go to Friday's game. SC Freiburg 1, Borussia Mönchengladbach 0. Bit of a coupon buster, this one.
Didn't see this coming.
No. As very often on this podcast, we don't see a lot of things coming results-wise, do we, Samuel?
No.
Yeah, to say I was surprised was a bit of an understatement, really. I got a chance to watch bits of the game. I didn't watch large parts of it, I will be honest, as I was a bit busy doing other stuff at the same time. But Freiburg go 1-0 up. Nils Pettersson, bit of a veteran now, 31-year-old. He's been around the Bundesliga a long, long time for different clubs. Look, Freiburg they've done fairly well this season, I think you'll agree with me. They've done fairly well this year to get where they are for a relatively small club, really. Definitely a small sort of ground. Alassane Player sent off 2 yellow cards.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's going to really, really scupper Mönchengladbach's chances of getting in the Europa League. To miss one of their main strikers through 2 yellow cards, so he's got a 1-match ban now. I think it's 3 for a straight red, isn't it? And 1 for an accumulation of yellows. Quite disappointing, really. I was really disappointed with Mönchengladbach. I thought they'd come out a lot stronger than what they did. It was quite disappointing, to be honest. So, thoughts on it, Samuel?
I didn't even see it coming, mate. I was at work the next day, and I checked it this Saturday, and I woke up, I texted you saying, have you seen the Friday night score? You said, yeah, it was a shocker. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it.
Yeah, I know. I think, was it 2-1 I went on the score predictor for this Mönchengladbach?
I said, I can't remember what I said. I might have said 1-0.
I think the only thing that surprised me really was the fact that Mönchengladbach, although they didn't score, they had 60% of the ball and they had 18 attempts on goal.
Mad.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, I'm not going to say they've got a lack of quality because they haven't. They've done well all season. I just think at the time when they really, really need it, they're falling, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, that's at least 2 games they've lost now out of the last 4 or 5. That's not really the form that you need to be showing at this stage in the season. Although, I guess on one hand you could kind of look at it as Mönchengladbach went away to Leverkusen and needed a win, and they got a win, and a big win at that, 4-1. Oh no, was it 3? Was it 3-0 actually? Might have been 3-0. I'll have to double check that. But I think Mönchengladbach have been a bit disappointing really recently. They've kind of flattered to deceive a little bit. they've threatened. I mean, that result against Leverkusen, I thought, right, they can kick on now and definitely cement that 4th place. But now it's still anybody's after the form of both of them in the last few weeks.
Definitely.
Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach, respectively. Freiburg, although they are a fairly strong team, they're a very solid team this year. If you have 40% of the ball, you're kind of letting the other team kind of dictate the game. But with Niels Pettersson scoring to make it 1-0, I think it just kind of shot Gladbach down a bit, really. They looked a bit devoid of ideas at times. I was quite surprised with that, but it did finish 1-0. And on the back of that, Freiburg, they're in 8th place. Mönchengladbach now are still in 4th, but it's going to be very tight, isn't it, for that for the 4th Champions League spot? Sorry.
Yeah, it sure is, mate. So it's a battle between who wants to finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Dortmund and Leipzig and Bayern, which we're going to cover a bit later on, I think they're pretty much nailed on, really, for the top 3 now. In my opinion, anyway.
Definitely, mate. I think your Dortmund and your Bayern, I think that's basically secured because we'll get on to Leipzig soon, but that was another one that we didn't see coming, but we'll get on to that soon.
Yeah, just kind of rolling on from that, I think Friday kind of set the precedence, really, for the results of the weekend because there were some really surprising results in there this weekend.
Yeah, there was.
Which we're going to get into now. The first 2:30 kickoff on Saturday, Fortuna Düsseldorf 2, FC Hoffenheim 2.
Big result for Düsseldorf.
Yeah, it was a big result, actually. Although, Hubner got sent off for Hoffenheim in the first half, just after Düsseldorf had scored their first goal. I was quite surprised that Düsseldorf took the lead, to be honest. Although they didn't actually play that bad at Bayern. To say they got thumped 5-0, they didn't actually play that bad. But they're always, I don't know, it's hard to say with Düsseldorf because they're down there right in the thick of the relegation battle. So you never truly know what you're going to get. I mean, look at Werder Bremen last Wednesday. Yeah. They're getting thumped 3-0 at home by Frankfurt after having some really good results just before that. So as we say, guys, Ruven Hennings opened the scoring for Düsseldorf to make it 1-0. Hubner was then sent off for Hoffenheim in the 9th minute, which was only 4 minutes after Düsseldorf had opened the scoring.
Did you see it? Have you seen the red card?
I haven't actually seen it, no.
There's no need for him to do it. There was no need for him to even do
reckless tackle.
Yeah, there was no need for it, mate. I think that's what cost Hoffenheim was that red card.
Well, I mean, if you look at the balance of play, really, I mean, Munich Dabor, who was at Salzburg, I believe, last season, banged in a lot of goals for. All right, it's in the Austrian league, but I think he did score a lot of goals last year. I kind of kept tabs on him a little bit, really. Got a move because I think he's on loan at Hoffenheim. I could be wrong, but I'm sure he's on loan from somewhere. Good goal scorer. Knows where the back of the net is. So anyway, De Boer made it 1-1. Zuber actually scored for Hoffenheim for them to take the lead in that game, which I think surprised a few people, really, because Hoffenheim, they've been quite flat recently. They've got a couple of wins, but they do look a bit flat at times, which in previous years gone by, they don't really look as flat as they did, or they have done in parts this season. And Ruven Hennings, another veteran striker in the Bundesliga, got a second goal for Düsseldorf through a penalty. I've not seen the penalty. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, mate.
No, I haven't actually had a chance to watch it yet. I tried to watch it the other day on BT Sport on the app on my basically through my games console. What I watched the football on, and for some reason, some of the games wouldn't load properly. It was cutting out bits of it, and I don't really know why, because BT Sport is usually quite good, but yeah, it cut out, so I actually missed the penalty. 2-2. I'd say if you're Hoffenheim and you go away to Düsseldorf, I think if you play well, you'll get a result because Düsseldorf are struggling. It does show a bit of character, though, I guess, from Düsseldorf to come from 2-1 down, although they was playing against 10 men. It shows a bit of character, I guess. That's something that I don't think Düsseldorf lack, is a bit of character, but a bit of quality is debatable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game finishing 2-2. Hoffenheim stay in 7th. They're actually on a -8 goal difference this year, Hoffenheim.
Yes.
It's quite surprising, really, for a team sat in 7th place. They're on -8 goal difference. But they do stay 7th after that draw. Dusseldorf stay in 16th. Now, we're going to get onto one of the results around them very shortly. Massive result went against Dusseldorf at the weekend, which I didn't see coming.
I don't think anyone's seen it.
No, you're very right. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Fuck it, should we move on to it?
Yeah.
Should we go straight on to it?
Yeah. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Mainz 2. Well, look, I didn't see this coming. I thought Frankfurt had looked like they turned the corner a little bit. They were bloody average on Saturday. And Mainz, fair play to them, struggling down the bottom of the league, got a 2-0 win. What a poor result that is for Frankfurt.
I didn't see this result coming either. I think I said 2-1 Frankfurt.
Well, what a surprise after the way that Frankfurt looked like they'd turned the corner a little bit. And it's not a great confidence boost, is it, going into a German Cup game against Bayern Munich? I think it's tonight, actually. It'll be tonight or tomorrow. What a poor result that is. Do you know what I mean? Going into that game against them, you're a bit disappointing, isn't it, really? To be beat 2-0 at home by Mainz, who've been struggling all season, who sit just outside the relegation places. Nia Kate with the first goal in the first half, and Kunde Malong scored in the second half to make it 2-0 Mainz. Did you see he took the knee, Kunde Malong? Yeah, he took the knee after he'd scored, keeping trend with the kind of theme that's going on in the world at the moment. It's quite interesting to see another person that took the knee, rightfully so, in my opinion. Yeah, what a result for Mainz that is. What a result.
Great result.
Because if they hadn't won, if you think about it, if they hadn't won at the weekend, they'd be level on points with Dusseldorf. So what a win that is.
Great result.
Yeah, it is a great result. I mean, if we're just going to quickly look at goal difference, Mainz are on -23 goal difference, Dusseldorf on -27. So they, in theory, they would only be outside the relegation places on goal difference. That is a very, very dangerous place to be if you're hanging on anywhere by goal difference. Because things can soon change in football, as we both know.
Yes.
Yeah, although Frankfurt were poor, and I did watch bits of that game as well, Mainz they battled well, I must say. It reminded me a little bit of the Werder Bremen result at Schalke. Not playing the best football, but battling for everything. And you could see how much it meant to them, and fair play to them, they deserved a win after that. Because if you're going to go away from home, no fans or fans in the ground, it doesn't matter. You've still got to go away to someone else's ground and get a win. So big props to Mainz for that, because they really needed that. They've been on a very, very poor run of results. So yeah, good result for Mainz. Rolling into the next one of the 2:30 kickoffs.
Probably the biggest game of the weekend.
Yeah, probably the biggest game of the weekend. Two teams that, on paper, look fairly evenly matched. Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern München.
Do you know what? Ben was one goal off this. Ben said 4-2. This ended up 4-1.
Well, I'll tell you something. Leverkusen...
Sorry. Ben said 4-1. Sorry.
4-1
Ben said 4-1
Bayern.
and it ended up 4-2. Sorry, yeah.
Look, Bayern, we all know how good they are. They've always had the potential, even under Niko Kovac, things weren't going well. They are showing exactly why they are the biggest team in Germany. When it really matters, when they really have to pull something out the bag, they do it. They're conceding a goal in the first few minutes through Lucas Alario, and it was a good finish as well. Beat Neuer at his near post, but he gave him the eyes to think because he was right-footed, he was going to go across pass it into the far corner. It was a good finish from Alario. This is the game that I watched most bits of, but that just seemed to wake Bayern up. It was like they was asleep in the first 10-15 minutes. And yeah, it just really, really kick-started Bayern into life, really. Kingsley Coman. Now, the one thing I'll pick out about this game, I can't understand for the life of me. You've got Gnabry playing against you on one side and you've got Kingsley Coman on the other. Why on earth would you play a high line? Give them all that room to run into. Because nobody's going to catch them. When they set off, you're not going to catch any of them. I mean, even Lewandowski can shift. And honestly, the first goal for Bayern just completely threw me because I thought, why would you leave that much space in behind you for Coman to run into? Because when he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper, it's just a lottery for the goalkeeper, innit? You're lucky if you save it. Yeah. I mean, you could do everything in your power, but when a guy's got that much space to aim at, he could have done anything. He could have passed it to the side of him, which he did, to score the goal. He could have gone round him. He could have used his left foot. It's just a lottery. I was really disappointed with that because they look so open at times by Leverkusen, and it's kind of it gives you an indication as to why they've conceded so many goals this season. Even though they have done well as a team, and I'm not going to knock them for that. But they look so open at times, Sam. I mean, the high line they was playing, it was ridiculous. You're playing into Bayern's hands completely because all they have to do is play Coman and Gnabry on the shoulder because they have got pace to beat anybody. And when you're going to play that, and you're going to play that risky sort of game plan, you're asking for it. And Goretzka made it 2-1 just before half-time. It was a really good finish, actually. He'd worked the ball across the penalty area onto his left foot. And he got a good strike on it, and it went back across the keeper. Hradecki got a hand to it, but I think, on reflection, the goalkeeper probably should have done a little bit better to keep that one out, to be honest. He was Goretzka's looking the part, though, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's a powerhouse of a midfielder. Did you see the difference in him? Did you see that picture? Yeah. But when he joined Bayern and look at him now, the guy is stacked. Like,
Steads. Yeah,
well, we don't advocate steroid use on the podcast, by the way. But, yeah, Goretzka, very, very handy midfielder. Scored to make it 2-1, and another one, Serge Gnabry, made it 3-1 just before half-time. So you've got 2 goals within a couple of minutes of one another.
It's like the floodgates open.
Yeah, exactly. Bayer Leverkusen, I think the second goal, it shocked him a little bit. I mean, the ball, I just forget who played it, but it was a long straight pass, straight over the top of the centre half. And Gnabry's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And why the goalkeeper came that far out, I don't know. Hradecki had... He's like he's made his mind up to come and try and clear the ball away, but he started in the wrong position. And when you've got someone like Serge Gnabry chasing the ball, he's always going to beat you to it. He came out and the ball was bouncing. Well, you've made the striker's mind up then, haven't you? Because all he has to do is lift it over the top of you into an empty net, because Hradecki had committed himself. It was a good finish, and I'm not taking anything away from Gnabry, but I do think that the goalkeeper made it far too easy for him. He made his mind up for him. Do you know what I mean? And when you're losing 3-1 at half-time to Bayern Munich, you've got an uphill... It's an uphill task, isn't it? Going into this... I mean, Leverkusen made 3 changes at half-time. They took off Emiri Bellarabi and Leon Bailey, and they brought on Kerim Demirbay, Florian Wirtz and Vendel, the left-back.
Can we just say that Kai Havertz wasn't even involved?
No, there was Sven Bender and Kai Havertz that wasn't even involved in that game. They was both sat together, well, obviously 2 metres apart, but they were sat in the stands watching the game together. I'd be interested to get your thoughts on that. That surprised me, because I've not heard any injury talk. So dodgy, what's going on?
Dodgy.
Because it's one of your biggest games of the season. And a team that, let's be honest, is probably going to be chasing you in the summer.
I don't think he will, mate. If I'm honest, I think he'll be at Chelsea next season. The amount of money they're going to be getting is ridiculous.
I'm not so sure. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, it just baffled me a little bit, really, because I thought, well, why is your best player not playing?
Yeah.
If he's injured, fair enough.
Unless he was suspended, but I didn't hear anything about it.
Well, I didn't, to be honest. And I guess we'd have to do our own little...
research.
Yeah, we'd have to do a bit of digging into that. But I definitely didn't hear any injury talk.
No, I didn't.
So it's either a suspension or he's been left out for a reason. Bayern Munich making it 4-1. I mean, look, say what you want about Bayern Munich. What a cross from Thomas Muller. Straight onto Lewandowski's forehead. It was straight in his path. He didn't have to break stride. Bullet header into the onion bag to make it 4-1. Thoroughly deserved as well. Bayern could have been a cricket score. But, I mean, they played some unbelievable football, especially in the second half. They did play very well, I must say. I'm quite happy for the young 17-year-old at Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz. Big things are expected of him, 17 years old. Although he didn't get helped because one of his first actions was in a foot race with Davis. So, yeah. I think it can. No, he's not winning that. So I think that kind of give him an indication of how the second half was going to go. He did actually play pretty well, showed some good touches. At 17, you're always going to, unless you are genuinely a world-class talent, it's hard. You're losing 4-1 at home to Bayern Munich, so I guess Peter Bosz just kind of thought, well, I may as well throw him on because what have we got to lose? Yeah. He actually scored and he took his goal very well, and I can see why people are looking at him even at 17 because he's a talent. He looked very good. He did struggle to get into the game in parts, but it's tough when you're playing against a full-back like Davis, isn't it? You're not going to beat him for pace, so you've got to think of other ways to try and beat him. But as I say, he took his goal very well. The end score, Bayern Munich 4, Leverkusen 2. Good win for Bayern. Leverkusen, I didn't think they helped themselves at times, but nevertheless it was a good win for Bayern.
Oh, let's move on to this next game.
Yeah, moving on to the next one. RB Leipzig 1, Paderborn 1.
Biggest shock of the week.
Well, I mean, if you picked out a game that you wouldn't expect a team to get a point from this weekend, it'd probably be Paderborn away at Leipzig.
Yep.
Actually, just totally unexpected, and I think it shows why Leipzig just aren't quite there at the moment. Patrick Schick opening the scoring for Leipzig, a player that I do rate quite highly actually, all left-footed. He's quite quick. He's a good talent, Patrick Schick. I think with it looking like Timo Werner is on the verge of joining Chelsea, I think he could play a big part for Leipzig next year. Another one, Upamecano. Sent off. 2 yellow cards again. Another one in the Bundesliga this weekend.
Do you know what his second one was for? Backchatting to the referee.
Well, he got his first yellow card in the 16th minute. And if you're getting sent off just before half-time, to me, that's a lack of discipline. Look, for as many talents as the guy has, and he's got some big clubs in Europe chasing him, Barcelona and Arsenal being two of them, if you're getting 2 yellow cards in the first half, to me, that's a big lack of discipline there, and it shows as well. I don't know, just kind of give us your thoughts on that, but I think that's criminal.
Just no need for it, mate.
Well, there isn't, is there? You've got to kind of think your way through the game and not just... Well, I mean, you're 1-0 up. Why would you need to backchat the referee? I mean, for crying out loud, you didn't give a penalty away or anything, so why backchat with the referee? He's not going to change his mind, is he? Very surprising really for Upamecano. For as many talents as the guy has, I do think he lacks a bit of discipline sometimes. The score 1-0 at the break for Leipzig. Both teams made some substitutions. Paderborn, 90 plus 2 minutes.
Fair play.
Equaliser, Strodiek with an equaliser, 90 plus 2 minutes. I could not believe it.
Mine couldn't either, mate.
I couldn't believe it. I thought... Hoffenheim, to me, they're pretty much gone. Well, they've given themselves a glimmer of hope with that result.
Who?
Paderborn.
You said Hoffenheim.
Oh, sorry, Paderborn. Paderborn, giving themselves a lifeline, really, although it is a small lifeline. A lifeline nonetheless. Big point, but what a disappointing result for Leipzig. You've got a chance to keep pressure on Borussia Dortmund in second place, and you do that.
It's mad to think they was top of the league December.
Yeah. I think they've kind of... Look, the qualities are... Usually, 9 times out of 10, the quality shows through with teams. And I think that Leipzig have been guilty of not really adding as much as they could, I don't think. They're about 3 or 4 players off winning the league, I think. They need a top-class centre-forward now, with it looking like Timo Werner's going to Chelsea. They need some quality now. They need to bring some quality in because they've got a lot of money for Werner. And players' values have dropped because of the COVID-19 thing and because of contract situations. Big summer ahead for Leipzig, I think.
That's if Nagelsmann stays.
Well, we don't know. I'd love him to stay. I think it's a great project he's got there at Leipzig. I think it'd be a shame for him to leave that, but you just do not know who's chasing you, do you? You don't know.
Newcastle.
No chance. Sorry, I'm just getting a cough out of the way. End score, Leipzig 1, Paderborn 1. Leipzig stay in third, they're going to 59 points. Paderborn on 18th, propping up the table on 20 points. Look, they're 11 points away from safety. You'd say they're probably not going to do it, but at least they've given themselves a bit of hope, haven't they? Mm-hmm. I guess the summary for that game, just disappointment. Not getting 3 points at home.
Yeah, disappointing result.
Moving on, the 5:30 kickoff. Borussia Dortmund 1, Hertha Berlin 0.
Tell you what, do you want me to take control of this game, mate? Because you didn't watch any of it because you fell asleep.
Well, no, you're incorrect there. I watched the first half and I fell asleep.
Did you watch the goal?
I didn't see the goal. I missed everything. The first half, I'll be honest, the first half was garbage.
It was garbage.
The first half was absolutely awful. Yeah, and I fell asleep at half time, woke up to a message saying, Emre Can's bagged. I said, what? Honestly, when I woke up, I didn't know what day it was. And I was like, what? Who? Where? Didn't realise the game had been and gone. Yep. It was about 7:45 when I woke up. I thought, brilliant. Fantastic. So I missed the entire second half where all the action seemed to be. Take it away.
It was really weird, to be honest, because at first, when I turned it on, because I turned it on the second half as well. I forgot the game was even on. And I turned it on and I was like, fuck, I forgot the game's even on. And for some reason, it sounded like fans was in the ground. But I rung you, didn't I, asking you about it? And it wasn't. It was like a recording of the fans in, like, when what they normally do in that.
So basically, they're playing it over the tannoy system. Yeah. So basically, in previous crowds, whenever they chose to do it, they've recorded the crowd. So they play it back over the tannoy system to give the players a bit of a feel like they've got fans in the stadium. That's basically...
Good idea, that, though.
No, it is. I think it's brilliant, and I love it, because there's non-stop chanting.
I think, if I'm honest, I think there's only one team I think there's only one team in the Premier League that'll do that, and I think it's Anfield, because they'll want the fans... They'll want the players to get behind. They want the fans to get behind the players, but that's another topic. We'll get into the Premier League.
Well, I know a club that's already tried that system out, don't we?
Man City.
They tried that without the COVID-19 outbreak.
No digs there.
What a joke.
Yeah. Anyway,
touche.
Yeah. Good goal from Emre Can.
Oh, was it? I didn't see it.
Very good goal. He took it really well. He took it on his chest, plonked it onto his right foot, and just literally curled it into the bottom right-hand corner. Great finish from Emre Can. And to be honest, Dortmund, from then on, I think the next 20 minutes they did kind of dominate Hertha Berlin. But Hertha Berlin were very dangerous going forward, and especially at corners, because Boyata was beating piss checks and headers and everything, mate. It was mad. Great player, great up-and-coming player. Yeah, I mean, Dedrick Boyata, he's one of them. He's been around a bit, you know. He's at City, wasn't he?
Yeah, City, Celtic. It's a strange one, really, with Boyata, because he's not that old, but it feels like he's been around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember him playing in the cup game at Scunthorpe years ago.
Yeah, I do.
When he was a young kid, and I'm thinking, how old is he? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'd be interested to see, actually. I mean, we can just double-check that now.
I'm sure he's like 28, I think.
29? God, I thought he was still in his mid-20s. I mean, if you look at the clubs that he's played for, he started at Man City in the youth academy, went to Bolton on loan, FC Twente, back to City again, although he didn't play a lot, going to Celtic for 4 seasons before joining Hertha. So he has been around a bit. I actually think he's prone to a mistake, and I think that's why Celtic fans wanted rid of him, because he makes too many mistakes. I heard one of the Celtic fans once say he looks like Bambi on ice, and I thought, watching him, it's a pretty good description, actually. I mean, you're probably better placed to speak about it than I am, but Dortmund, we did say, though, to be fair, it wasn't going to be an easy game for Dortmund. We knew that with the form that Berlin's been in, and it shows as well. Yeah. 1-0 against a very well-drilled side now.
Witsel, mate, outstanding in the middle.
He's so good. He's so underrated, Sam. Underrated.
Him and Brandt, mate, in that middle are just sensational.
Well, I think
that midfield second half.
I think Dortmund look better when they've got Delaney and Witsel playing in the same team.
What do you think Delaney was playing?
I'm sure he started. I'm sure he did. I personally think that they look a lot, because they've got them two sitting central midfielders. It gives the players going forward more licence to roam around, because when you've got players like Torgan Hazard, he can play on either wing. He's very good with both feet. You've got Sancho, who needs no introduction really. Haaland, when he's on form, them players given licence to roam around will look a lot better. Guerrero, Hakimi, when they've got licence to get forward and get involved.
Tell you what, going back to Sancho, he had their right back on toast at like the 80th minute. I'm not joking. Yeah. He flip-flapped the right back, got it to the byline, reboned it to Guerrero, and Guerrero he smashed it, but it just went past the post. I was like, wow, what are you even doing there? Why are you even reboning it there?
Well, look,
if you get a chance, go and watch the highlights of it. He had their right back on toast.
Well, that was another one that I tried to watch the highlights, and for some reason it wouldn't load properly, and I don't know why. I will go back and look at them, just because I love watching the football highlights, really. Dortmund, I think that shows another side to Dortmund now. They'd have probably lost or drawn that game a few seasons ago, but they are building a side now. They just need to kind of keep the team knitted together and kind of add on to what they've got. But yeah, nevertheless, a good win for Dortmund.
Yep, great.
Moving on to Sunday's games. Werder Bremen 0, Wolfsburg 1. Wout Weghorst with the goal for Wolfsburg.
Of one?
Yeah. Another one I haven't seen the highlights for, although it wouldn't surprise me, being 6'6", if it was a header.
Probably was.
They do play to him quite a lot. We saw him in the Dortmund game, and they had two big centre forwards, Weghorst and Daniel Ginczek. They do kind of play this, although they can play good football. They tend to revert to that a lot. It's like almost what Newcastle used to do with Andy Carroll, kind of go back to that. Right, well, okay, if we're not winning, we're going to throw it in the mixer.
We'll loft it in.
Yeah, and let Carroll go attack it. And Weghorst is exactly the same, although he has got some ability. I won't play down his ability on that. Wolfsburg with a big win to keep chasing the Europa League places, but Bremen, another disappointing result.
Yeah.
That's 2 on the bounce now, where they needed to win, not lose, and they lost both of them.
It's a shame to see Werder Bremen where they are. It really is. I mean, we're going about it every week, mate. It's such a shame to see where they are.
Well, it is. I mean, if they go down to... I mean, look, big clubs... It's happened to big clubs recently. Hamburg, Stuttgart being 2 that have both gone down to the second division. Hanover, and exactly as you say, Hanover, another one. There's 3 big clubs there, really, that with a bit of guidance and some good leadership, they shouldn't be at that level.
No.
Really. I mean, look, I don't mean any disrespect at all, but when you've got teams like Dusseldorf, like Paderborn,
Union Berlin,
they're 3 teams there that they're punching above the weight, aren't they? If we're honest with ourselves, and again, I must say I don't mean any disrespect by that, but you're going off what I've seen growing up as a kid and what I got used to. Stuttgart was playing Man United in the Champions League not so long ago. It feels like a lifetime ago now.
Wolfsburg in the Champions League not so long ago.
Not Wolfsburg.
No,
Wolfsburg was.
Yeah, there was, and so were Werder Bremen.
Well, I remember Johan Miku playing for Werder Bremen. Claudio Pizarro in his heyday.
Ozil.
Yes.
Schürrle.
Yeah, exactly. Ozil. Another one.
Podolski.
Yeah. Just...
There's names there that you can just run off.
I think Podolski might have been Cologne. I could be wrong with that, but nevertheless, the point still stands that they've had such a good record of young players. I mean, I think Miku was in the pop of his career, really, when he went to Bremen, when they was in the Champions League. But I think it's so disappointing to see him down there, and it's really surprising as well, because I couldn't quite fathom in my head how a club like that has managed to fall that drastically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, look, Wolfsburg are a good side, and they've got a really good setup going at Wolfsburg. They've got a good ground, good fan base. Werder Bremen, you must feel sick if you're one of their supporters to be down there. It's quite sad, really.
It is, mate. It is sad.
Wolfsburg getting the win, 1-0. So that's a big result for them when they're chasing the Europa League places.
Yeah, it sure is, mate.
Next result.
Well, before we start, I'm not selling my PlayStation on my TV.
Yeah. Sam is wiping the sweat away from his forehead as we speak.
I don't want to talk about this game.
Union Berlin 1, Schalke 04 1. Andrik with the goal for Union Berlin and John Joe Kenny equalising just before the half-hour mark.
Can we just say, before we do get into this,
yes,
Schalke went 1-0 down.
Yes, they did. Are we surprised?
No,
not really.
I knew they wouldn't score more than one goal.
Union Berlin, I think you could count it as a good point, really, especially after how they've been playing recently, because they have been, well, to say they've been poor is a bit of an understatement. What a big goal that is. What a big goal that is for Schalke. They needed that as well.
They needed it, but still
needed. And come from a right back. And look, right,
yeah, exactly. I'm not say that again.
From a right back.
Exactly.
Look, this is what I'm going to say, right? So just hear me out on this one. The fact that a right back scored, and you've got people like Rahman and Bergstaller, and you're not scoring goals, and your right back scores, things can happen in football, and I understand that. But that shows just how desperate they actually are. The fact that they're celebrating a right back scoring who very rarely gets on the score sheet.
It's embarrassing.
Desperate times, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I really don't want. We seem to do it every week.
Honestly, mate, I'm sick of going on about Schalke. I really am sick about going. I'm sick of.
I don't think we can help it though.
I know.
The problem is
so poor, man.
They are incredibly.
It's like you keep saying. They are very lucky to have picked points up towards the start of the season, because if they was where they are, if they'd had the points that they've got now,
they'd be sinking, wouldn't they?
They'd be right at the bottom of that.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%, no doubt about it.
If anything, they are probably They are probably in the worst form in the league.
Yeah. I was just before you turned up. I was actually listening to Football Daily's latest podcast, and it had John Joe Kenny on it, and he was talking about adapting to life in Germany, speaking the language and stuff. And he even addressed it himself, but not in so many words. He basically said, look, we've had an incredibly difficult period. I think that's a bit of a bloody understatement, don't you? A bit of a difficult period. You've been the worst team in the Bundesliga, bar none.
I generally can't remember the last time I actually remember Schalke winning a game.
Well, that's one win in, is that 11 or 12 games now?
12 now.
Yeah, it'd be 12, won't it? One win in 12 games. Says it all, doesn't it?
It's not good enough.
Well, Wagner's got his back against the wall, hasn't he, really? Because you'd think, well, if they don't get a result next weekend, he's got to go, surely. Yeah. I'm not advocating for a manager to lose his job, but you can't help but think that he will lose his job after that.
Exactly. Especially against Union Berlin.
Look, Union Berlin have been so poor recently. They got battered 4-0 in the derby.
Yep.
There was absolutely shocking at parts in the last few weeks, and I think they're another team, though. They can count themselves lucky that they did well in the first half of the season, because they have, since the lockdown period, and since we've come out, he has... Yeah, I think Wagner, he's got some big he's got a big job on his hands to turn that ship around, because they are sinking.
Let's get off this game anyway.
Yeah,
let's get to the
moving on to the next game, and this is where I picked my point up for the weekend.
It was.
FC Augsburg 1, FC Cologne 1.
You said 1-1, I said 2-1. I was so gutted when Cologne scored the second one.
Well, Niederlechner actually missed a penalty in the first half for Augsburg, so that was my kind of light shining through the clouds for me, because if Augsburg score, they're probably going to win the game 2-1. So, with that being said, I'm kind of glad they missed the penalty. The scoring wasn't actually opened until the 85th minute through Anthony Modeste for Cologne. Just a quick one on Modeste. Did you see him a couple of years back playing for Cologne? He was the only one up there challenging Lewandowski on the score sheet.
Jesus.
Another one that went to China.
Yeah, exactly.
And another one that's come back again. Modeste, very handy player. Very handy. And Cologne did really well that year because of him, pretty much single-handedly because of his goals. Modeste opening the scoring in the 85th minute, and 3 minutes later, Max equalising for Augsburg. In the grand scheme of things, the game didn't seem to mean a great deal, with both teams sitting Cologne sitting in 12th place and Augsburg sitting in 13th. 3 points between them. Augsburg sitting 4 points above the drop zone. I would say, though, that they're one of the teams that are safe because they're playing well enough and grinding out results to get points. It's not like a Mainz who are really struggling, although they did get a good win. And Dusseldorf, they're not one of them teams. They are quite strong, Augsburg, and especially at home. Quite a good result for both, really, on reflection.
Yeah.
And it was a good result for me.
Yeah.
I think there wasn't any games Monday, was there? Excuse me.
Huh?
Well, I don't know where that sneeze come from.
No, that was it.
Yeah, no games. So that was the last game of the weekend.
So, if you want to run through the table, mate,
we'll just quickly run through the table for our listeners. So, in first place, we have Bayern Munich on 70 points. In second place, Borussia Dortmund on 63 points. In third place, we have RB Leipzig on 59 points. In fourth, we have Mönchengladbach on 56 points. In fifth, we have Leverkusen on 56 points. In sixth, Wolfsburg on 45 points. 7, we have Hoffenheim on 43. In 8th place, we have Freiburg on 41. In 9th place, we have Hertha Berlin on 38 points. In 10th, we have Schalke 04 on 38 points. In 11th, Eintracht Frankfurt on 35 points. In 12th, we have FC Cologne on 35 points. In 13th, we have Augsburg on 32. In 14th, we also have Union Berlin on 32. In 15th, we have Mainz on 31. In 16th, we have Dusseldorf on 28. We have Bremen in 17th on 25 points. And again, propping up the table in 18th place, Paderborn, 20 points.
So there you go.
And that's the table.
That's the table. Hopefully we can get some changes in that league soon.
Yes. First place would be nice. It's not going to happen, but first place would be nice.
Hopefully next weekend we can get some predictions in for the Premier League, because believe it or not,
yes,
the Premier League's back next week.
We are back. We are back. We are back.
Woo!
The way we're going to go with the podcast, we are going to try and get to do, once the Premier League has started again, we're going to get to do, we're going to kind of do two separate ones, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're going to do a European podcast, and we're also going to do one that's based just around the Premier League. I think that's best, really. Gives the listeners a lot of content. We've got so much to talk about, especially with the Premier League starting again.
I think in the Premier League we've got a lot more, we know a lot more about the Premier League as well.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd like to think that I know a fair bit about the Bundesliga because I try and get to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be difficult when the Premier League starts back up again to watch all the German Bundesliga football, because the Premier League is going to be such a big schedule in such a short space of time.
I think that's what we need to talk about, and we need to talk about what we want to talk about, because I think Premier League's more attractive than what the Bundesliga is. But that can be the listeners' points of views. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, look, mate. I'm not going to. I will be honest. I don't necessarily share that kind of opinion. Just the reason being that when we started these podcasts, we wanted to try and give the listeners as much content as we could. And I think the more we give the people that are listening, the better. And I think if we can manage to do a Premier League one and a European one, well, we will do it anyway. There's no two ways about it. We will do it. I think it just gives people, it's so that we get more chance to speak about the things that are actually important, like reviewing the weekend results, like giving them the league table so they've got a week-to-week update. And the same with the Premier League. Although, to be fair, the Premier League is going to be mental because there's that many games in such a...
I can't wait.
It's like, you know, they say food porn. Yeah. It's like football porn, isn't it?
I can't wait. Anyway, let's get on to the part of the podcast which I've been waiting for. It is the podcast quiz.
Yes, the podcast quiz. I am not looking forward to this at
all.
So,
what we do is, guys, we'll have 10 questions. I'll read the questions out, and at the end of the questions, we'll go through the answers. Make sure you leave your answers in the comment sections below. I know Jamie Morgan has been, and I know Adam Oliver has been as well, so that's good to hear, boys.
Very good to hear the participation.
Aye, it is. Are we ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so question 1 is, what Chinese team does Rafa Benitez manage?
Oh, wow. I saw this as well. Oh.
I want the full name as well, please.
Yeah. I think I've got it. This is the team that that I know that he went to, so I'm going with that. Yeah, question 2.
Yep. Who are currently bottom of the championship?
Oh, wow.
So who is currently bottom of the championship as it stands right now?
Oh, Jesus.
Told you, mate. I ain't making these questions easy. You want to get me?
It's been such a long time as well. I can't even...
It has. I love this. I love it.
You're getting done over on the next one. Question... It's been such a long time, I can't even remember who's in the bottom 3.
I can come back to it if you want.
You're going to have to come back to it, mate, because I can't think.
Well, I don't think you'll know this one. Who is Mercedes' F1 boss? Who is the boss of the whole of the F1 Mercedes team?
I'm putting a random answer down because it's the only one that I've ever heard of.
It's alright.
Who's a boss of, so...
Right, this
that's just a
one,
guess.
this is... Right, I'll have to try and repeat this quite, Right, let me get into it. What did Ben Stokes score in last year's Ashes by 1 point? Now, if anyone listens to it, Ben Stokes was on fire. The one test series he played, he was sensational. He got past the 100 mark. I want to know what he got. I want to know the exact...
What final score?
What he got in the end. So, obviously, he carried on playing. And if the guys don't know it, it was when they played Australia. I think it was his second day, I believe. And Ben Stokes was on fire that day.
I'll listen to this on TalkSport as well.
I want the points that he got.
That he ended up with.
That they ended up with, because they won by 1 point. I want to know the point they got.
I know exactly what you're talking about as well.
Do you know the one I'm on about?
I listened to it on TalkSport. The second test, wasn't it?
Yes, I believe it was. I think it was at Headingley, I believe. I might be wrong. Jamie Morgan might know this.
Is there any difference in the answer I'm allowed here?
As in...
I don't know. Just say, for an example, if he got 190 runs, and I say 190...
I'll give it to the nearest 5, I'll give you.
Right, okay.
I'll give it to the nearest 5 as well, and the guys that are listening as well.
It's just a guess, this one, but
it's fine.
I have heard it before, but it's just a guess.
Ready?
Yeah.
How much did Chelsea pay for Frank Lampard from West Ham? And I want the exact amount. I'll give you the exact amount, but I'll give you the nearest 10, if you know what I mean. So if it's like 10.95, I'll give it to the nearest point somehow.
Another guess.
Ready?
Yeah.
How many European trophies have Real Madrid won? So Champions League trophies, how many have they won?
I remember when they won La Decima, which was 10.
So how many Champions League trophies have Real Madrid won? And you get like a little badge on your shirt when you've got more than 5, so that's a bit of a hint.
How many Champions League?
How many Champions Leagues have they won?
Right, okay.
Right, the class is European. It's classed as European, but
I'm just trying
Champions
to remember
League.
when they won La Decima, because I remember them winning it, which means you've won 10 European Cups. But I'm trying to think when that was, because they won a few after that. Right. Yeah.
Okay, this next one's a 2-part question. So, do you know when you did with me and Derby and Newcastle? This is the exact same as that. So you only get the point if you get both of them.
Right, okay.
Who scored the quickest hat-trick in the Premier League and what player was it? Who scored the quickest Premier League hat-trick in the Premier League and what was the time? So I want the player and I want the time.
Mm-hmm. I saw this not so long ago as well.
I want both answers. Because you played me like a little fiddle, so I'm going to play you like a little fiddle now. Didn't give me half a point.
You're getting done over. You are going to get absolutely more.
Hey, I've told you, mate. You wanted to make that. Then you wanted to make them questions hard for me, mate. We'll go back to yours. You was asking me how
difficult as these are.
You what? How far off the ground is a basketball hoop?
Anybody could have heard that song.
I've never fucking heard of it.
Anybody could hear that.
Never.
Anybody. Just a guess, to be honest. Yeah.
If I give you the team, you'll know it exactly. Question 8. Which player has played 653 games in the Premier League?
Which player?
Which player?
Is he still playing?
I'm going to say yes, but I don't think he is. I think he's playing in the lower league to the Premier League now. When we've gone through the questions, I'll run it with you. But I'm guaranteed he's gone back to this club.
No idea. I'll probably kick myself as soon as I know it, but yeah, go on. Next one. I'm just going to have to leave that blank.
That's fine, we'll go back to it if you want. What is Walsall FC's ground called?
Walsall FC.
Yeah. Who's in League 1, I believe?
It was in League 2, I think. Yeah.
And the last question, you should get this because it's been in the news lately. What is Birmingham City's manager called?
Was.
Oh, no. All right. He still is, but not at the end of the season, he's not.
I know that.
So what questions did we miss out, mate?
Number 2.
Who are currently bottom of the Championship? Just put a random guess. You'll probably kick yourself when you know it.
I've lost it. My head's gone now, mate. I've lost interest because I've got one answer right.
Really?
Yeah. Well, no, 2. I think. I'm sure I've got 2 right, but.
And question 8 you missed out on, didn't you? Just put a random question. I'm sure he's in the. I'm sure he's in the Championship now. I know he left this club, and I'm sure he's gone back to him. I might be wrong, but we'll go over it in a minute. Leave it blank if you want. I'm sure he's gone back to this club.
No, I've messed up here because I'm doing it on my notes and I've deleted something.
So what you deleted?
The Birmingham one was question number 10, wasn't it?
Yes.
It's messed up now because it's saying it's question number 9 and I don't know which one's which.
Right. So you missed the only one you missed out was the Birmingham one, wasn't it?
What was question number 9?
What is Walsall FC's ground called? Right, I'll tell you what, let's run through the questions and then we'll just go from that, alright? So question 1, what club or what Chinese club does Rafa Benitez manage?
I've got the answer for that one.
Which is?
Dalian Yifan FC.
I will give you, it's Dalian FC Professional, I will give you that. I'll give you
if
that
you look at on the tables, it is Dalian Yifan.
Yeah, on the actual page it's called Dalian Professionals, but I'll give you that. Question 2. Who are currently bottom of the Championship?
No idea.
Barnsley.
Honestly, mate, my mind's gone blank. I couldn't even think of any teams, and that's how much my brain's blank. Because I just couldn't think at all. I know I've got this one wrong, but I just put a name of an owner that I used to know.
Who is Mercedes F1 boss?
I know it's not, but I'll say Bernie Eccleston.
Toto Wolff.
I knew it wasn't, because he's the only F1 owner that I could think of, because he used to own QPR.
He did.
That's it.
He did. Question 4. What did Ben Stokes score in last year's Ashes by 1 point? You said?
160.
135. I can't give you that, mate, unfortunately.
Right.
Question 5. How much did Chelsea pay for Frank Lampard from West Ham?
A long time ago. I said 15.2 million.
7.84 million.
I know it wasn't much, but just having a guess.
Question 6. How many European trophies have Real Madrid won?
I said 12.
It's 13.
Fuck it. That's pissed me off because I remember when they won La Decima and I was trying to think how many Champions Leagues they've won since then.
Well,
I've just... I've just realised the ones that I've left out in my head, and it was the one when they played Juventus at Cardiff.
Exactly.
The only ones I could think of was when they beat Madrid again.
Yep.
And when they beat Liverpool.
Yep.
That was the only... And I forgot
Juventus.
the one that...
to be honest, I thought you'd have got that. I did. I generally thought you'd have got that. Two-part question then. Who scored the quickest hat-trick in the Premier League and what was the time?
This was a guess again. Aguero.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you the team.
Aguero, 9 minutes.
Sadio Mane, 3 minutes against Aston Villa.
I knew it was wrong anyway, so I just said it.
Fine. Which player has played 653 games in the Premier League? Right. He plays for West Brom, or he used to play for West Brom. Then he left, and then he went back. I'll give you that. That's the only clue I'm giving you. I'm sure he's gone back to him now. I am
This
thousands.
is a stab in the dark. Is it Gareth Barrett?
It is.
Oh my God! How the hell did I pull that one out?
It is.
Is it actually Gareth
Yeah,
Barry?
it's Gareth Barry.
I said a name off the top of my head that I could.
Gareth Barry.
What the hell?
Because he left him last season, but they brought him back in.
Didn't they get rid of him because of that taxi incident?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't expect to get that one right.
Yes.
I'll be honest.
Gareth Barry.
Wow.
Question 9. What is Walsall FC's ground called?
Bescott Stadium. It was.
It's now called Bank Stadium.
Thanks.
I'm sure I've got this one. Everyone should get this one.
Pep Clotet.
Yeah. The question 10 was, what is Birmingham City's manager called? What did you say?
Pep Clotet.
Yep.
3 out of 10.
Not bad. I'm quite surprised you didn't get that one at the start, actually. I'm gutted you didn't get that Real Madrid one, because I generally thought you'd have got that.
Well, I'd remembered every Champions League win apart from the one that actually mattered, that would have made it 13. Because, and I remember they beat Atletico at the San Siro to win it again after they'd beat them the first time.
Yeah.
And then they played Juventus at the Principality in Cardiff.
And they played Liverpool.
And then they beat Liverpool in Kiev. And the Juventus one was the only one that I didn't remember. That's why I said 12.
Mad.
Which is a bit annoying, but...
So, Reece got 3 out of 10. Let's get your scores in the comment section down below. Hopefully you guys got more than Reece. Hopefully.
Not hard. You're getting done over on the next quiz.
Oh, I look forward to it.
Oh, you are.
So, yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. Currently...
Can we just get into... Very quickly?
Yeah, very, very quickly.
I guess we wanted to just we wanted to speak and give our support really to Black Lives Matter. It's something that does actually mean an awful lot to me, and it did upset me when I saw the events unfold of what's been going on. It did upset me quite a lot to think that the planet is going that way. These issues, guys, have existed for as long as time existed, and we don't show any preference on this podcast. We have no racism involved. We will not allow it. It's not welcome on our podcast, and it's not welcome among our group of friends either, because pretty much everybody we know is of the same mindset. We do not accept it whatsoever, and it will not be accepted. I personally have been brought up to treat everyone as they treat you, and the majority of the people that I know from a certain ethnic community, or whether they're white, Caucasian, male, it doesn't matter. If you treat me good, I'll treat you the same. And that's the way I've run through my whole life, and it's the way that I will continue to run until the day that I go. I'd like you to say a little bit as well, Sam, because it's something that I feel quite strongly about. It has no place in our society. It definitely shouldn't.
Nah, racism is just disrespectful. It's not even disrespectful, it's just bang out of order.
Shameful.
Yeah.
Shameful that it still exists in our society.
It's like I say, mate, you've got one race and it's the human race. I'll say it.
Exactly. I couldn't really sum it up better myself. One race and it's the human race. We want to kind of end on that message to show our support for these people that are fighting for equal rights between people, and to show that black lives do matter. Of course they do. So yeah, we want to end on that message. Racism has no place with us.
Exactly. Yeah, so guys, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, please leave a like, get it shared all over every platform, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, Instagram. Get it shared everywhere. Leave your comments down below for your score predictions. Or your quiz.
Quiz answers.
That's the one. I couldn't get my answers out. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a like, subscribe if you're new. And that's it from me and Reese.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Auf Wiedersehen.